Dominica, the nature isle of the Caribbean. An island of 72,000 people that boasts lush volcanic mountains, waterfalls, and incredible biodiversity. But it's also on the front lines of the climate crisis. In September 2017, Hurricane Maria, a Category 5 storm, tore across the island. It left a trail of devastation. 90% of buildings damaged, infrastructure shattered, lives changed forever.
In the space of a few hours, Maria wiped out 225% of Dominica's GDP. We are on the front line of the battle against climate change. From the seeds of Maria's destruction grew my administration's policy initiatives and actions to build the first climate-resilient nation in the world and to usher Dominica into a bright future.
It was a bold promise. And today, it's gradually being realized on multiple fronts to better protect the island's most vulnerable inhabitants, as global warming increases the frequency and intensity of severe storms.
All your lifetime investment and labor, what you have done over the years, and then to just see it blown away by the wind, it wasn't an easy thing to digest, and even still now we have to grapple with that type of trauma, you know. So it is still something that lives, can never be forgotten, or even if you try to, it still remains as part of, you know, one of the biggest scar of life.
Prosper Paris is an indigenous Kalinago community leader in the northeast of the island, whose home was destroyed by Hurricane Maria.
Type of intensity of hurricane, which we now are experiencing every other year, and even though they don't come, but the idea that this hurricane season is coming, you're always getting frightened already, you know. But now there is less frightening because of intervention of international agencies and the government that have built people more resilient, stronger housing.
Dominica's first line of defense? Emergency public shelters like this one, designed not just to withstand storms, but to serve as critical safe zones during and after a disaster. The $7 million project is being completed with support from the World Bank, one of a series around the 290 square mile island. Each regional shelter supports hundreds, complete with kitchens, restrooms, and communication lines. Some double as schools or health centers, multi-purpose resilience at work.
Over the island and especially the territory, there is no building what they call a resource resilient shelter. So that will be one of those houses that you can go to in the event that your house is not, you know, strong enough to withstand a hurricane. So you have somewhere that, not yet, but hopefully, that you have something you can run over.
Hurricane Maria left thousands homeless. In response, Dominica launched the Housing Recovery Project, building homes with stronger roofs and proper anchoring to withstand Category 5 storms. This complex in Bellevue Chopin is a model community built to accommodate hundreds of displaced families.
Hurricane Maria, everything I had was gone, the whole house, nothing left. Everything was gone.
Vanya Williams and her husband Ted survived the eye of the storm.
It was sad. I went on the road walking. People was holding me. I was crying, saying I lose everything. I did not get anything. My husband had a chainsaw. We had a whole fridge, settee, everything was gone. A lot of people. Imagine them houses that did not enough to give people that lose their houses. Did not have enough. I go and cry. I cry for the Prime Minister. I cry for my pal rep. I cry for my secretary. And then they helped me, and I was so pleased about it. It's good. I cannot complain. Very good.
You feel safe, secure?
It's safe, yes. Safe, secure.
I'd really appreciate that, you know. So when I reach, I say, God is good, God is good. And then when you get to us, we come with our place there, and we start praising the government still until now.
In the aftermath of the storm, the Williams family was relocated at no cost to this modern 2-bedroom flat. The homes are practical, efficient, and climate smart, designed not just to survive storms, but to reduce long-term maintenance and energy costs. Do you feel like the government is more prepared for the next one?
Yeah, because it's dirty talking about is to prepare for that. Running everybody do a good shelter, prepare a good shelter when the heavy storm come in.
In a mountainous country with over 365 rivers, flooding and landslides remain a constant threat. Climate resilience means re-engineering how Dominica handles water. Outdated culverts across the island have been replaced. New stormwater drains are under construction, and emergency water tanks are in place to supply clean drinking water to impacted communities. Another painful lesson from Maria was that when roads are washed out, communities get cut off from relief. In the aftermath, road resilience has become a top government priority. Using reinforced concrete, geotechnical surveys, and new slope stabilization techniques, roads and bridges are becoming more flexible and flood-resistant.
The road was very bad because when the road tarnished. And now we have very, very good road. Thanks to that Prime Minister that built that road and the other people who helped to build that road, I find it's a very, very good thing.
For roadside merchants like Clarencia Sanford, new roads have had a positive economic impact as well, cutting down travel times and improving the quality of life.
If you want to go to Roseau now, I just stand by the roadside and say, I'm going to Roseau and buy my stuff and come back home. But other times we used to take a lamp, a bruisei, we call that a bruisei, and go by in Concord. There's a track going up through Concord, Horseback Ridge. Go down in the hollow, and then we go into Roseau. About 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, we'd go to Roseau. With all little provision to sell, sometimes all little baskets to sell, and then in the afternoon we'll come back home.
So now it's easier to come and go for tourists to come?
Yes, the tourists, when the tourist season is on, more vehicles would pass. With tourists on board, maybe it was a little sale. It was better. It's better now because the tourists would come by and stop by sometimes, you know. It was very hard before, but now I find it's easier for people to live. The life now is easier now. Why? Because of the road.
To better prepare for threatening storms, Dominica has developed an early warning system of weather stations that track rainfall, wind, river levels in real time. From village loudspeakers to SMS alerts, communities are notified long before disaster strikes. And with new roads and shelters, people in harm's way can find safe haven more easily. In some very remote areas, however, the government is taking more drastic measures. In the seaside village of Petite Soufrière, accessible only by single road on steep rock face, there are plans to transplant the community to another town further inland. Solomon Durand is a bay leaf farmer who has spent his entire life distilling oil on this small farm.
I born here and I lived here all my life. I lived here all my life. When I was 12, I made my first badge of bay leaf. And from that time, I'm not an educated person. I don't have no job anywhere. So just make my little garden and make my little bay. From that I send all my children to school. That was it, or die. That was it. If you don't do it, you don't have food. You have to make it to send your children to school. Maintain your wife and your children. That is what I do all my life. I never had a job anywhere.
And what is the bay leaf used for?
Well, a lot of things. A lot of things. I don't know how true it is. They say they use it to make bomb, they use it for cosmetic, they use it for repellent, they use it for disinfectant. It's a lot of things. Lot of things.
The memories of Hurricane Maria still loom large.
Everybody had lost hope because not one tree that had a branch. And it's only the concrete roof house alone that had stand. All the rest was flat down. 95% of our GDP had gone.
More recently, heavy rains caused landslides that killed one of his neighbors.
November 6, a guy had died his house was on the thing there in the house. The slide hit the house.
So these are recent rains and landslides.
Yes, yes.
Someone died here.
Yes.
Given his old age and the risks, Duran says he will leave Petite Soufrière if he must.
It's very risky here when you have a lot of rain. I will go, and I have a lot of children too. Some will not go, I can assure you, but a lot of them will go. Because it have some of them where their house will be there is not safe at all.
Newer homes, warning systems, and better infrastructure are giving peace of mind to thousands of Dominicans ahead of the next big storms. But back in Kalinago territory, Prosper Paris asserts that climate resilience must extend beyond infrastructure to include things like food security.
Okay, so this is my small holding around here. Traditional food. This is the yucca. This is yucca. So that grows about 9 months to a year before you get, but this is a sweet one. There are different varieties. So this is a sweet one. You can eat that as a sweet potato, cook it and eat it.
At his home farm, he plants a variety of crops to provide fruit and vegetables throughout the year and prevent soil erosion when heavy rains strike.
Now you have pigeon peas, then you have the cocoa. Just harvested, so maybe you find a few up there still. Usually we put the bigger trees on the edge, because you don't want it to cover in the center. So this one is, for example, the pigeon peas is seasonal, so you can almost cut it and grow again. But things like the sour sop or sweet sop, which provide you with a fruit, you have that. What happens if a tsunami comes and our shores are damaged, the boat cannot enter our shores, our airport are damaged. So it's a matter of seeing it as a holistic approach, that we build our spirituality, our values, our trust in the Great Spirit, and also to do as much as we can using the environment around us to provide food, shelter, and whatever it takes to make us a better people.
Additionally, Paris asserts that traditional indigenous construction methods of climate resilience have an important part to play. The Barana Ote, a cultural village and tourist attraction in Kalinago territory, was damaged by Hurricane Maria. But this structure made of local wood and thatch remained intact, a testament to the durability of indigenous design.
KB means Kalinago Village by the Sea, and it was meant to build in Kalinago architect. And while we were building in the villages with 2x4 pitch pine, we ensure that most of the lumber that was being used was local lumber from the rainforest in Dominica. And we ensure that the builders that were building it were doing a right thing by following tradition, by harvesting this wood on the face of the moon, which make it very much, stronger and naturally preserved. And they use the technique of the ancestors, and they incorporate modern technology to make it stronger. So it's one of the best examples, and it has proven itself. Not only that they're saying it has proven, say, I was there. I withstood Maria. There's only one building that went down. It is getting old already, but all the other buildings are still there.
The village is part of a broader ecotourism push across the island that is helping generate alternative sources of revenue in areas that are heavily dependent on agriculture and more vulnerable to extreme weather.
Right now, I think people are more conscious. That is why we have to be building stronger and better. We have overcome and we are still here. So hurricane is just part of nature, and nature has a way of healing itself.
In the western town of Jimmet, Prime Minister Skerrit recently presided over the opening of a new regional shelter.
As a small island developing state, Dominica has boldly set the sights on an ambitious yet necessary goal to become the first climate resilient nation in the world. This is no small task. The climate-related shocks we face are not only increasing in frequency, but also growing in intensity.
One of the issues that we suffered after Hurricane Maria is that everybody had to find their way into the city center, and that wasn't possible for everybody. Of course, as part of Dominica's disaster management, the government developed a decentralization policy. How do we better handle management in different catchment areas? We have 3 regional emergency shelters, which are large shelters made to accommodate 300 people in one instance, 500 in another, and 800 in another.
From emergency shelters to homes, roads to early warning systems, Dominica isn't just rebuilding stronger, it's rebuilding smarter, becoming a blueprint for climate adaptation. 8 years after the devastation of Hurricane Maria, the island is proving that resilience is not just a goal, it's a way of life.
I think we're much better prepared, and we've always been, a country cognizant of hurricanes. We did have Hurricane David back in the 1970s, which was as devastating as Maria. Dominicans always had in their psyche the devastation that hurricanes can do to an island. It's not like it was brand new. However, it was brand new to this generation, and so we dealt with it accordingly. Climate resilience is something that we talk and eat and breathe.